Hello there! Today I'm out and I'm actually hoping to capture a quite special light phenomenon. I've seen it only once before, and how to describe it? I would like to call it an infinity edge at the horizon over the lake. Well, I've arrived and it isn't looking exactly as I'd hoped, but we do have some clouds out over the lake and it's kind of open behind and the sun is clear, and just to give you an indication of it, the sun is setting there, and there, out there is where we're pointing. Should be around, that's 45, so 60, 70 degrees the angle from the sun out towards the lake and the clouds, which isn't really perfect for sunset colors or anything, but what I'm hoping is the colors that comes afterwards when the sun falls a little further below, so you know the blues and the pinks mixed into those blues. Those are the colors I'm hoping gonna come into the clouds behind us there, and those colors reflecting down into the lake. It might be a little bit too much waves, a little bit too ripply out on the lake for it to show in a good way, but I'm going to use a long exposure as I always do with water. Yeah, but I don't want to talk anymore. I want to set up the composition and we'll see what I'm going to be able to come away with there. Well, since I've told you about the concept of pre-visualization, I might as well practice as I preach, right? And basically what I see here is a nice pool of water between all these rocks, and that is basically, so it's basically going to be framed by the rocks, and the rocks themselves are pointing out towards right over there. The idea, at least, is to use this water in between and using the framing element of the rocks there to try and do something nice with it. So very wide, 16 millimeters, and the only thing is pointing towards, that might actually even work good. I'm a little bit uncertain about the direction it's pointing, but it might work in my favor. But walking around a little bit, I can see if I walk too far here, I'm probably walking out of frame now, but over here it doesn't frame at all the way I want it. But over here we're getting more of the frame I'm thinking about. So even taking a step back here, I'm getting more of what I'm thinking about here in the foreground. And what this is going to do, it's going to create much more of an interest here in the foreground, so a much stronger foreground. And in a scene like this, when the background isn't really anything happening there, it isn't an interesting horizon line, it isn't any mountains or anything, then the foreground becomes even more important. So somewhere around here is where I'm going to set towards where it's pointing. And we're getting a helicopter flying over us now. So it just means that you know that you're out in the wild, that there are no other humans around. Yeah, it's wilderness for you. Right here, I think we have the best. Let's frame it a little bit further back. A little bit further down. Yeah. I think we got it there. So right here. Everything is set up, and I put it on the 10-stop filter, and I'm now running a 8-minute long exposure. That dark already. The sun, I don't think has gone below the horizon yet, but it has actually gone behind a cloud or something, it looks like. But anyway, we are getting some color in the clouds right now. A little bit of that pink, but it's still early. It's still direct sunlight hitting them, even though it's kind of pretty. It isn't that after sunset blue hour pinkish purplish hue that I'm actually looking for. But I wanted to get an exposure rolling just to see how it's going to look, and if or when it gets darker and we get more into the colors that I'm looking for, it's probably better to switch to a 4-stop filter, and I'm still going to be able to achieve perhaps a couple of minutes long exposure. Well, I changed the filter to a 4-stop immediately after the 8-minute one, because it was still a little bit dark, and going up to 16 minutes, well, it's simply too much. I mean, it's basically a whole sunset. So I'm currently on the 4-stop filter. Those are the two filters that I carry, a 10-stop and a 4-stop. I'm actually thinking about either adding a 6-stop or changing the 4-stop to a 6-stop filter, because the 4-stop filter isn't really doing it for me in these conditions. It has to be too dark until I can achieve the shutter speeds that I want. I want to have at over a minute, so or between a minute and 4 minutes. So a 6-stop filter would probably be better for me to have, so I might acquire one. The sun has just gone below the horizon, and yeah, hopefully we're gonna get some nice harmony soon. And that is here. I want to have more harmony between the clouds and the sky. I don't think I'm gonna be getting the infinity edge at the horizon I was talking about. The conditions aren't lining up. Mainly too much movement in the water, I think, and also you can see the line on the horizon there, which is land and trees and stuff. I thought I would see less of it here at this location, but I guess this location isn't as perfect as I thought it would be for it. I know other locations, so the quest will continue some other time, but for now, still gotta wait and hope for the harmonies. The amazing harmonies. We're getting closer to the harmony behind me now, and you can really see the color tones and the contrast of everything is just starting to melt together, melt into one single unified harmony. The thing that I want is the gradation that's happening to come a little bit further up, since the image stops somewhere up, well, here somewhere. And I would like the gradation to kind of be a little bit more up there, just to get a little bit more interest up in the top of the frame. But you can kind of see what I'm talking about with the infinity, when the sky and the water just melts together. And if you don't have this line, the horizon line there, then basically the horizon line becomes invisible. So I said that very poorly, but if you don't have land that is creating the horizon line, basically when you come to the states of harmony, when everything just comes together, melts together, then the whole horizon line is going to disappear, and it's going to look like a single gradation going from the water in the foreground all the way up to the top of the sky. I think, at least. That would be awesome. That was the idea anyway. So, yeah, a little bit more weight, and then we're gonna get the final image. And that's that. Interesting little experiment. I find it very satisfying and extremely interesting to test around with these ideas. Really having an idea before you even decide to go to a place, really knowing what you want to try to execute. Thus, I can take more pride in the work that I'm able to produce, and I really know that everything from start to finish is, well, basically executed from my mind, and nothing is really a chance thing or anything like that. Anyway, I'm kind of satisfied actually with what I got away with, even though it isn't what I set out to capture. Now the only thing left for me to say is thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, got something out of it, please like it and share it. It really means a lot if you would share it. Other than that, please subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you all soon again. Goodbye.